Opendoor Technologies has been on a pretty impressive run over the past month or so, surging over 550% in the month of July alone. But there's been a little correction and the stock is starting to come back to life. I'm personally becoming increasingly bullish by the day. But even as bullish as I may be or as you may be, is it possible for the stock to rally another 2,000% by the end of the year, in the words of Mr. Eric Jackson? In this video, I want to talk about why there's no chance I'm going to say it's likely, but why it is definitely possible. And of course, we'll take a look at the charts and compare it to one Carvana that has experienced something similar in the past. My name's Royce Jacob. I have been a professional options trader for over 5 years now. I've made over 1,000 videos just like this here on YouTube, so subscribe if you're new around here. And I've been writing a daily newsletter covering my portfolio, covering my options trades with charts and everything else. So if you want to sign up for that, if you want to become a member of the Waves trading team of Waves Cap, then that's going to be the first link in the description of this video or in the comments. These are just some older examples, but I write these bad boys every day. This is what I love doing. This is my life, and we have made a lot of money over the years. And I'm sure many of the existing members can attest to that. So always appreciate it if you guys drop a comment down below, leave a little testimonial, leave your experience, regardless of whether it's good or bad. Thankfully, for the most part, it's good. There are ups and downs and everything, as there is an Opendoor. But thankfully, it's been an amazing year for Waves Capital. So again, if you do want to join Waves Cap, if you do want to join the trading team, know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis. It's in the pinned comment or in the first link in the description of this video. I do also have an options trading course as well. Simple and effective guide to trading options in 2025. This is my complete portfolio daily trade alerts. Only $15 a month, you guys. You can always peace out if you don't want to, but I take a lot of pride in the price point I put on these, given the value that I believe I provide. And that's I have provided to many in their words in the past. So appreciate it if you sign up. If not, no worries at all. Let's get into this video because I'm really excited to speculate, okay? Before we get to reading, before we dive into the charts and talk potential price targets, I do want to make it very clear that all of the price targets we're seeing here, especially, or we're going to discuss here, kind of everything we're discussing here, especially if Opendoor does ultimately surge this much, which would be a hype cycle. If Opendoor is to execute on a hype cycle, like a legitimate hype cycle, which again, a 2,000% surge over the course of a quarter or two would, in my mind, definitely constitute a hype cycle. It's important to remember that fundamentals are not going to matter that much. This is going to be momentum. This is a momentum trade. This is a hype trade. This is a retail-driven rally that some institutions are probably going to want to take part in, which is just more fuel for the fire. So this isn't going to be a video discussing Opendoor's recent earnings report or discussing, like revenue targets or whatever, projections. This is going to be to discuss the potential of a hype cycle and how far hype cycles have taken other stocks, which is why we're going to reference Carvana or CVNA on the charts as we look at Opendoor. Okay, before we dive into the charts, let's just read over this, okay? Hedge funder who sparked the rally in Opendoor stocks as the CEO's departure sets the stage for a 2,000% surge this year. This guy's really pumping this stock. Clearly has some exposure. My money is on the fact that he probably has a pretty meaningful stake in Opendoor. Eric Jackson's outlook for Opendoor has become even more bullish after its CEO stepped down. The hedge fund founder now thinks the stock is headed for $82 by the year end, implying a nearly 2,000% surge. The firm looks like it's on the right path to become the Airbnb of housing, he told Business Insider. That's some nice buzzwords right there. Investors sharing Opendoor's meteoric rally haven't seen anything yet. That's according to Eric Jackson, the hedge fund manager whose bullish outlook for the stock this summer kicked off a massive rally that's been likened to a meme stock surge. But despite the stock's gain of more than 600% since the start of July, Jackson is adamant that Opendoor is the real deal. Speaking with Business Insider on Monday, Jackson, best known for his bullish call on Carvana in 2023, turned out to be an amazing call in retrospect. Said Opendoor is poised for more colossal gains through the rest of this year. With Opendoor CEO Kerry Wheeler's departure last week, the EMJ Capital founder says he now sees shares of the real estate iBuying company soaring to $82 by the end of the year. That would imply a 1,975% gain from Monday's intraday high of $3.95 per share. Previously, Jackson's thesis pegged the stock that level at sometime in 2028. So this guy is becoming increasingly bullish. I'm not going to read over this here. I'll read this. I think it was the right thing to do. I thank her for her efforts over the last 2.5 years, Jackson said, adding that Wheeler helped Opendoor clean up its finances after she took over in 2022 when interest rates were high and the company was loaded with inventory it bought in the years prior. But I think it was obvious she never bought a single share. Okay? Not like this guy, not like Eric Jackson. He's got plenty of shares. So all of this said, again, I'm not here to delve into the financials of Opendoor. Okay, that's maybe that's why some of you are interested in the stock. That's why Eric Jackson claims to be interested in the stock. But personally speaking, for myself, that's not why I'm interested in the stock. I'm interested in the crazy amounts of volume that the stock is trading. I'm really interested in the market cap of the stock. Currently sitting at $2.6 billion. This is like the perfect, and I said this in my last Opendoor video. Go check that out if you haven't already. Where this target that we were talking about, how crazy is it? How perfectly this came into fruition. I told you guys, I've made those trader tip videos in the past talking about this trading pattern, broken lines of support becoming new resistance. This is probably one of the most extreme and accurate examples I've ever seen of that. This is a little tangent, but how crazy is that, you guys? Anyway, again, I'm interested in the hype capabilities of the stock, a $2.65 billion market cap, which is what I'm talking about for the tangent. That is, in my mind, the perfect size for a potential hype cycle or the perfect sized market cap for a stock which could potentially encounter a hype cycle, because 2.5 billion, like, this isn't a micro cap stock. This isn't, a couple $100 million company. This has liquidity. When you're worth a few billion, you have liquidity, especially with the volume that we're seeing. Volume is picking back up, still below the average volume, which gives me reason to believe that there's still time to kind of get in on this one before this second wave really rolls through. So this is pretty exciting stuff here. And when it comes to that second wave, $84 is obviously way, 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 way up from where my personal price targets would be. But hey, again, if this stock goes crazy, anything is possible. Okay. So before we kind of speculate and take a look at Carvana, I will say that as a trader, I will 100% be taking profits on Opendoor once and if the stock sees this prior untested low around this region of like $12.50, or I'm sorry, $12, and it's like, we'll call it like $12.70, okay? Saw this low over here, did technically retest it on this single candle wick, but that's tough to count. I will say, though, that a target that I'm really eyeballing, I should say a target range that I'm eyeballing, is this like 1260 to 1370 region, okay? Once and if Opendoor is to reach this region, I do plan to take significant profits from the call positions that I'm currently holding, okay? And speaking of call positions, again, if you're part of the newsletter portfolio group, what are you waiting for? If not, sign up. Join the team. Again, you can always quit. It's only $15 a month. But I highly recommend, I'm recording this on Thursday, August 21st. Definitely don't go out and buy, August 22nd expiration contracts. I wouldn't even recommend buying, even though it's possible that over the month ahead, this thing sees its second wave and rallies a ridiculous amount. I advise buying near the end of the year. So just a hint, November contracts might be the move for this stock, okay? Don't, especially when it comes to a stock like this is really exciting. I see a lot of potential here. Again, not for the fundamentals, but for just the momentum that it carries. I see a lot of potential here, but still you want to play it safe. It's always, always, always possible that this does not come to fruition. The stock could very well be, below $1 by the end of the year. That's possible as well if things just hit the fan. But yeah, personally speaking, I'm really excited. I do think that we can break at least I don't want to say at least, but I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we are to break back into double digits by the end of the year, by 2026. And, all things considered, it's very possible that it happens sooner. Is $86 by the end of the year likely? It's, in my opinion, definitely not likely. It's possible, not likely, but, this guy who's clearly trying to pump the stock and kind of the face of this meme stock rally that it's been experiencing, it makes sense that he's just being outlandish to create as much as hype and excitement as possible, which is good if you understand that. It's not good to fall emotional, create any emotion around the stock or get emotionally attached to the performance of the stock. You should never do that regardless of what stock it is. But if you understand hype cycles and just understand general momentum plays like we do here at Waves Cap, because we've played so many of them in the past, that's perfect. You want other people to feel emotional so you can be the rational head who is not left holding the bag at the end of the day. Okay, so please don't let me holding the bag. Let's take a look at Carvana just to see what this stock did, because Carvana is one of the craziest stocks that's existed in the public markets over the past couple of years. Back in 2023, so it's just over 2 years ago, Carvana was trading around, I have to go even closer. Okay, so let's just start right here. In January of 2023, Carvana was trading at about $5.50. By July of 2023, so about half a year, this is kind of a good example because that's where we're at now, the stock rallied up to a whopping $56 or 1,100%, okay? That is a crazy gain. So that's just to show what's possible. That is like Opendoor, Carvana, similar market caps, kind of similar trajectory. Carvana was actually even smaller than Opendoor is right now. So Carvana, I mean, this is an amazing story. Imagine holding long-term call options on this thing, like way out of the money, and just holding on to those puppies. Because right now Carvana is, earlier this month, it touched freaking $400. Okay. So this thing has what is that a 10,000x? Okay, so not 10,000x, but 7,000. No, sorry, to the high. It's almost a 10,000x. If it was at 4,000 or $4, it would be a 10,000x, or 10,000% gain. I'm sorry, not x. But we're just spitting out numbers at this point. You guys can see what is possible when you're talking about a stock that does have fundamental growth and is kind of at a fundamental pivot point in its trajectory as a company, but that experiences crazy amounts of volume. You can see here, even as volume dissipated over the months and over the years, this thing just kept climbing. So Opendoor, again, might be a wise decision to just hold some real long-term call options on this thing, even if they might be a bit out of the money, and just sit back and enjoy the ride. So that is, that's just my general opinion on Opendoor. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys gained any value at all, a like would mean a lot. Again, if you're new around here, subscribe. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about Opendoor. Do you think this is possible, or do you think it's just completely ridiculous? Always interested in your guys' opinions there. And once again, if you want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis, get all of my daily newsletters that I spend my life writing, then it's the first link in the description of the video or in the pinned comment below. Okay? I appreciate you watching, and until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace, guys.